we're approaching the first turnoff that I need to make. Or, okay, official turnoff for me to nutritionally refuel. The architecture in this district of the city, in the lower class areas, is very rustic, I find, and also infrastructurally not in the most disheveled state in regards to, well, flimsy touristic displays, only putting funding and construction care into specific external elements to incentivize residents and letting the rest go to waste. This area, not so much overall, which is, well, a pleasant change of pace. Here we are, Jones Street, or Jones Avenue. My mistake. Okay. Brief diverging from course. Oh, and yes, if you're wondering if our dear cycling aid, well, our cycling object, really, its entirety, has a name, they do. A name that I've given them that's very significant, actually, on an inside level to me. You, my friend, have been my dear companion throughout all of the GTA for the past summer and going into fall, and this will unfortunately be our last ride of the year, no doubt. Is this the right? No, I don't think it's on Gerard. Yeah, no, I don't believe so. Okay, let's try and go around this. Alright. Okay, they're moving. Alright, let me just get my bearings. Hey, no, never mind, silly me. I just realized, yeah, it's one block up. It should be on Gerard, the cafe I'm trying to reach. It's not this one. Is it? No, I don't believe so. I'm calling the name correctly. Maybe it is, I'm not sure. Okay. Is it? No, there it is. Deneen. Yep. This local establishment. Okay. So, I'm going to cross over, get some further preface, but well, I'll just introduce our new friend here. Everyone, this is, if this infernal eyesore would shut up, this is Wheeler. Yep, Wheeler, W-H-E-L-E-R. They've helped me through thick and thin, and I'll give them a more proper introduction after I'm done eating. But, well, they've been next to Cardi and Carlene, the most reliable motility object I've ever had the pleasure of utilizing. But I'll discuss more about them in a minute. Okay, tried to stop the recording, but Oh, that was my fault. Misinterpreted. Well, here we are. Crossing out of East York and into the downtown area. So, I'm going to stop for food again rather quickly. This time actually along Dundas Street, because, well, I'm in need of the sustenance. Because, though that local cafe, it had better produced, well, traditional dessert shop, Canadian dessert shop type goods, it still wasn't the best. But as for further introducing Wheeler here, so to clarify, they are not my bicycle under my ownership. Technically, they're my siblings. But, well, I've been the individual in our household using them so frequently, the most out of either of us. I actually think that they only rode Wheeler once this whole year. That I've taken it upon myself to name them. Wheeler is agender in presentation, and I knew them years back, isn't that right? But never became very acquainted until having returned. I would see them in passing when my sibling would take them out riding. And I believe I rode you maybe a handful of times when my original bicycle, well, was not available. But I'm glad to have finally made your acquaintance, Wheeler. Seeing as you've been my primary means of transport throughout this year. You bear resemblance to another old transportation friend of mine by the name of Timmy. Unlike you, though, they were motorized and intersex. But just in terms of functionality, well, you're closer to my old dear lost companion, Camden, who was unfortunately whisked away from me in the night on account of my carelessness. But you've proven to be the most, well, out of all the bicycles that I've made use of, you have easily been the most reliable to me, which I am eternally grateful for, especially given my circumstances. All your statements are correct. Fortunately, your affiliations governmentally are, well, directly contrast that, and will do nothing to dismantle such oppression in any form. Okay, so I have now ridden through these streets numerous times, me and Wheeler both. We're very accustomed to the complete and utter horrid chaos that is the bustling metropolis of Toronto. The amount of... When I was... Speaking of... Actually, go ahead. When I was in Montreal, Quebec, living there and riding for the time that I was with Camden, I unconsciously became very accustomed to maneuvering through crowded lanes, predominantly full of foot traffic, rather than... Okay, we can emerge onto the roadway in a moment. And now I became accustomed to maneuvering around people, but since being back here, I've had to juggle both incredibly moronic and impatient vehicular movements, as well as pedestrians who are unwilling to, let's say, cooperate with other passers. But through and through, that was not the greatest move. Yeah, you want to turn, go ahead. Case in point. Through and through, we've been able to manage it. a certain individual who I've been seeing frequently, I will discuss later, has stated multiple times when I've ridden to visit them that they are in disbelief how we manage to actually navigate through all this nonsense. They claim that they would be having an extreme anxiety attack, which is understandable. Yeah, we're staying on the roadway. And now merge back onto the side. Alright. I'm going to stop at a local Afghani restaurant along Dundas Street to get some more needed energy, and then continue on my way. No doubt mentioned it before, but Afghani food is my favorite national cuisine in the entire world. Out of every, well, ethnic dish I've tried. Specifically, lamb shank kabuli and vegetable biryani. recent times, with my furthering knowledge, to proper human dietary measures. I've also begun breaking apart and devouring the bones, the inner, well, cooked bone marrow of any meat substances that actually still contain its osteocontents, and sucking on them, chewing them, scraping them with my teeth, doing anything, gnawing on them to actually get the marrow out of it, as it is literally the healthiest part of the animal. Most vital for actually repairing muscle and bone tissue and cartilage. Okay. It's taken me now, so in total, it's taken me roughly 3 hours to reach downtown Toronto, cycling all the way from downtown Pickering. And it's now, take a look. It's 2:20 p.m. So I'm gonna finish this. I really got to accelerate my velocity as much as I can, heading along Dundas Street. And I will begin talking about the things I want to discuss whilst showing this area. I picked Dundas Street as the main route because aesthetically, despite its depravities, it's the most, I find it to be the most tolerable strip of roadway in this city. Alright, so I ordered Afghani-style chicken biryani and got it to go, a good amount of it, because I need to preserve, well, rations, so that I can keep providing nutritional supply for myself without having to pay continuously, because, well, I can't afford to do so anymore after buying that. The restaurant's name, by the way, was Kabul Express. Okay, we're approaching Sankofa Square. Damn. And, well, it's nauseating, so I would like to bypass this area as quick as possible. Okay, I'm gonna try and make this clip 10 minutes long, and I'm just gonna pause it at points to speak, because I would like to be going on further, addressing what I wanted to, starting with simply corrections of mine from previous content. No context, just if you know, you know. So, in regards to things I had said a long while back about electric-powered, or at least minor amounts of what I had said about electric-powered vehicles. Specifically, things that I had discussed in Exploring Ottawa Part 1. And something a comment I had made it to Peterborough, or those two videos. I mentioned how, with the rate at which global warming is accelerating, and how electric vehicles are not a means of a solution to it. A bit more of a dumbed down argument, as I didn't fully explain why. Other than, well, I mentioned how it takes a lot of gas power to create them, which is truthful. But, well, to elaborate on that, that is very much intentionally so. Population is just convinced otherwise, as if the only problem is that they have growing monopolies on said vehicles. But, in the statement I made about how, according to what research can be found of it, the Earth in many years, if it was to keep accelerating at a mass rate of pollution as such as what we have in industrialization, we would be at a critical point of, well, global catastrophe, to where most of our ecosystems would be nothing but molten ash and soot. Well, that was quite over-exaggerated on my part. Yes. Okay. I believe, actually, even with the mass horrid emissions, which are killing us and the other animal life forms around us slowly, very slowly, and destroying our lives, I believe there are two other outcomes that will happen globally, most likely before we ever reach a point like that. But if we did reach a crisis tipping point of mass extinction from extreme pollution,
You and your wife just...
well, fire and brimstone, or what it sounded like how I was describing it, is not very accurate. But it would be a very slow and painful death for us at that point. Not for that to be a doomsday portrayal, but it would be very harsh. But I do not believe that that is actually the most likely option to occur. As for what I said in the Made It to Peterborough videos about when I was looking for a motorized bicycle, and I was hoping to actually find an electric powered one because I said it's better for the environment, that was more so because I was under the belief that the battery packs for them were different in construction than...
Right,
Sorry.
I'll go this way.
It's alright. Well, there. Actual communication. I was under the belief that they were produced in a better manner than the lithium batteries in most electric vehicles, which I was wrong about, even for distilled batteries, like what I had with my golf carts. Yeah, we're going on the road. Alongside this obnoxious metal caterpillar-shaped, oversized bullcrap. Oh, sorry. But anyway, most electrical bicycle batteries are made with lithium. Whoa, that was my mistake as well. Okay, continuing the roadway. So, I was wrong about that. Okay, let's get up a ways here. Okay, so there's that. Another thing I was wrong about was in exploring Montreal Part 7, when I was commenting on certain Jewish or Israeli vernacular for specific bread pastry, specifically challah bread, I had made a comment that it's pronounced challah bread and not challah bread for individuals to get it right. It was meant to be comedic, but that was racist to me. That was, oh gosh, yeah, too close. That was racially ignorant of me, because there are those who have formed the linguistics of pronouncing such words that begin with CH in the English language as cha, so challah bread. And, well, it's stupid of me to say that. Okay, I'm not going to squeeze by here. So I was wrong there. In another part of exploring Montreal, I can't remember which one. Actually, yeah, it was part 3. Never mind. Yep, go. Okay. Go. Now, if you would just avoid me, please, and I will avoid you. No, actually, we're merging back onto the sidewalk. Because we've got it. I had mentioned, in regards to when I was observing a tag, a possible, well, I believe I thought it could there possibly, either it was a local artist or it was linked to gang affiliations, that I mentioned that it was written in the Chinese, the Mandarin Cyrillic alphabet. Now, I, for the longest time, didn't know. I had thought that Cyrillic, the term Cyrillic, linguistically referred to all just structures of written language. But that was completely wrong. Cyrillic actually solely refers to Slavic languages, particularly the Russian language. Those who, and that form of lettering is called Cyrillic. And Slavic languages, many of them utilize that form. So, sorry, I didn't know that. Okay. I really gotta get up a ways here. Okay, we're in the heart of Chinatown. Koreatown is further up a ways. Okay. Corrections are just gonna have to wait a moment as I... Oh, okay, never mind. The foot traffic is clearing up. Okay. So, what's another? Trying to think. Just had it. in what was it? Oh yes, well, okay, I guess I'll go with this one. In my last sketch that I did, the when I tell people I want to be a pornographer video, when I was talking about those who are schizophrenics needing psychiatric medication, that wasn't intended to be a promotion of, or a complete promotion, despite my thought process at the time, of usage of pharmaceuticals for treatment. I was trying to show disrupt with my thought process. Sorry. Playing a character of myself. I even mentioned in one of my before leaving the cottage videos after how I'd even known at the time in any competency, oh my gosh, in any competent healthcare, medications will be prescribed minimally and for short-term usage, not to be lifelong dependence. Sorry. Ay. Okay. Okay. Slide by. Yes, we are, Wheeler. Doing great. Doing fantastically. So there's that. Also in my before leaving the cottage videos, I think in part 3, I was discussing dementia and also the process of death and how fatality neurologically comes about. Well, I don't fully recall exactly what I said, but my notions of the causes of dementia deterioration, such as Alzheimer's, Lewy bodies, Huntington's disease, etc., somewhat being unknown and just having complete genetic dispositions to them, all that's, any amount of credence I gave to that was complete nonsense. Moronic. So I apologize for that. Okay. Nearly out of the nightmarescape that is downtown Dundas. Sorry. Okay. Merging onto the road lane. Hey, what's another? And yes, I am, for those of you who are concerned, I am no doubt why it's taking me so long to actually recall is because I'm more consciously fixated on surviving this nonsense. So, okay. We're gonna have to, we're gonna have to get back onto the road after I just got off. Yeah, welcome to TO. So, that was what's going on here. Unfortunately, no. I'm sorry. I really wish I could. Have a good evening. Laying on the horn isn't gonna make them stop stalling any quicker. It really isn't. Okay. I swear there was another correction, and back onto the sidewalk. But, you know what? Can't recall it at the moment. Oh, okay, I've already stated that I've said things that I was ignorant on in the past. Actually, you know what? Yeah. I'm gonna let it be. I really need to just let it be. Let what I said at that time be as it is. And if I think of it in another video, correct it then. I'll correct it in my writings as well. You know what? That's what I want to talk about in more prominence. Okay. Nearly there. Slow and steady we go, Wheeler. Slow and steady. Okay. Roadway again? No. I think this is fine for now. Sorry. Okay. Just need to give up. When I get an ample opportunity. Okay. And ooh. Yeah, okay, they were cut off. Yeah. Sorry. Screw the corrections. You know what? Everything will become clearer once my second channel about my revitalized and revised opinions once my second channel goes live. Excuse me. Ooh, don't tread along that concrete slab's edge there, Wheeler. And go. Alright. The pain of swinging in and out of the sidewalk and the road lane is is nearly complete. But I'm not gonna film the rest of me getting up a few more blocks. So yeah, I'm actually making quite good time, all things considered.